Imagine sitting in solitude, lost in thought about the one who wounded you, the painful words, the harsh actions, all playing over in your mind like an endless loop. Your heart feels burdened, your thoughts turbulent, and although you try to move forward, the agony keeps dragging you back. Picture yourself lugging around a bag filled with stones, each one symbolizing a hurtful moment or a painful memory. The longer you carry it, the heavier it becomes, weighing you down with every step you take. But what if you could simply set that bag down and liberate yourself? What if you realized that the pain you carry isn't something you must hold on to? Consider this. How many nights have you lost sleep, endlessly replaying that hurtful moment? How often have you allowed someone else's actions to steal your inner peace? Have you ever wondered why their words still resonate in your mind, even after they've moved on? Why do we empower those who have hurt us so much? Think of it like this. Imagine someone throws a burning coal at you. If you catch it, you get burned. But if you let go, it drops harmlessly to the ground. This is how emotional pain operates. The tighter you grip it, the deeper the burn. Now welcome to Insightful Journey, a space where we delve into the timeless teachings of Buddhism to heal, grow, and discover inner peace. If you find these insights valuable, please support us. Despite our many views, only 0.2% of our audience subscribes. So we invite you to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your engagement not only helps spread life-changing content, but also enriches our community with your thoughts and perspectives. Remember, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Our reactions to hurt define our peace. Buddhism reminds us that while pain is a natural part of life, our attachment to it is a choice. With this understanding, we take our first step toward genuine emotional freedom. Each time we're hurt, we face two options: either cling to the pain or transform it into wisdom. As the Buddha once noted, holding on to anger is akin to drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. When we nurture resentment, it is we who suffer, not those who inflicted the pain. Many assume that letting go means forgetting what happened, but that isn't true. Letting go involves liberating ourselves from the control that our past experiences hold over us. It's about refusing to let someone else's actions define our happiness. While time is often said to heal all wounds, it is really our actions within that time that determine whether the wound deepens or begins to mend. Continuously replaying your pain only embeds it more deeply. True healing occurs when you shift your focus from pain to peace, from resentment to understanding. Buddhism teaches that the root of suffering is attachment. When we cling to past hurts, we keep reliving them. But if we begin to see pain as just another experience, much like joy or laughter, we can start to break free. Letting go does not mean accepting injustice or condoning wrongdoing. It means reclaiming your power and refusing to let someone else control your emotions. There is a way to find peace, even after being hurt. And in our next segment, we will explore why people hurt others and how understanding their actions can aid in our own liberation. So stay with us on this path of healing. Let's examine why people inflict pain. Take a moment to breathe, inhale, exhale, and reflect. Perhaps you've been wounded, someone said something cruel, betrayed your trust, or neglected you when you most needed support, and now you are left questioning why. It's a question that has troubled many of us, keeping us awake at night as we search for answers. However, most of the time, the reason behind someone's hurtful actions is not as personal as it may seem. It isn't always about you. Imagine a person walking down the street with a thorn lodged in their foot. Every step is painful, and frustration, anger, and exhaustion mount within them. When someone accidentally brushes past, their reaction is immediate and harsh, not because of the passerby, but because of the hidden pain they are already enduring. Many people carry invisible thorns within their hearts, past wounds, fears, and insecurities. Often they don't even recognize how their own pain spills over onto others. Consider the metaphor of a river. When the water is calm, it reflects everything clearly. But when it's disturbed, it turns murky, obscuring what lies beneath. A calm person, like clear water, responds to the world with understanding and kindness, whereas a troubled person, like a turbulent river, reacts with anger and hurt. The next time someone harms you, instead of asking, "Why did they do this to me?" ask yourself, what might they be going through to act in this way? This shift in perspective doesn't excuse their behavior, but it does help you realize that their pain is theirs to manage, not yours to endure. There's a story once told about a man filled with anger who approached a wise teacher with insults, attempting to provoke a reaction. The teacher, much like the Buddha, remained calm. When asked why he didn't respond in anger, he explained with a gentle smile, "If someone offers you a gift and you refuse to accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The answer is simple. It stays with the giver. By releasing the burdens of anger and resentment, you choose to free yourself from the continuous cycle of pain. This is the essence of emotional liberation, a journey toward reclaiming your power and embracing inner peace. When someone offers you their anger, bitterness, or cruelty, remember you don't have to accept it. You aren't obliged to take on their pain as your own. Many individuals are caught in cycles of hurt. Scarred by past wounds, they unintentionally pass their suffering on to others. A child deprived of love may grow up struggling to express it. A person betrayed might find it hard to trust, and a heart wounded repeatedly can start to build barriers instead of bridges. Understanding this truth doesn't mean you must allow mistreatment. It simply means that you can choose not to internalize someone else's suffering. You've likely witnessed it before. One person has a rough day and snaps at a stranger. That stranger returns home and conflicts with a loved one, and soon the negativity spills over, affecting more lives. One person's pain can quickly ignite another's, much like a flame scattering sparks among dry leaves. Now imagine if you stopped that chain reaction. Think of a fire. If you add fuel, it intensifies, but if you douse it with water, it dies down. When someone hurts you, you're faced with a choice. Either add fuel to the fire by responding in anger, or extinguish it by meeting their actions with understanding. This doesn't mean letting people trample over you. Setting boundaries is essential. However, expressing those boundaries doesn't have to come from a place of hatred. You can assert that certain behavior is unacceptable without letting anger cloud your heart. Just as the sky remains undisturbed by the mightiest storm, letting clouds pass by knowing the sun will shine again, you too can let the temporary anger or hurt slide away. There's an old saying, hurt people hurt people. Yet equally true is, heal people heal people. When you decide to break free from the cycle of pain, you not only liberate yourself, but also become a beacon of calm for others. So, the next time you're hurt, pause for a moment and ask yourself whether you want to cling to that pain or let it go. The moment you choose understanding over anger and peace over resentment, you reclaim your power. A sign of true strength, not weakness. Anyone can react with anger, but it takes courage to rise above it. Moving into the wisdom of non-attachment, consider this. The suffering you experience isn't due solely to the pain itself, but to the grip you have on it. Imagine your pain as if you were holding a cherished object so tightly that you're afraid to let it go, fearing a loss of identity. Yet it's precisely this very attachment that traps you in suffering. Picture a gently flowing river. Its water moves effortlessly, following its course without clinging. But try to hold water in your hands. The tighter you grip, the faster it escapes. Life, like water, is meant to flow freely. When you latch on to pain, you create resistance. When you let go, you move harmoniously with the current of life. Reflect on the impact of replaying a painful moment in your mind, time and again. How often do you retell the story to yourself? Ask yourself what it has truly given you. Has it brought peace or merely deepened your suffering? According to the Buddha's teachings, suffering arises from our attachments, not the pain itself. If someone insults you once, yet you replay it in your mind 100 times, consider, who is suffering more, them or you? Let me share a story. 2 monks were walking along a path when they encountered a woman standing hesitantly by a river. The current was strong, and she was too afraid to cross. The older monk gently picked her up and carried her to the other side. Hours later, the younger monk, perturbed, asked, "Why did you carry her?" "We're monks. We're not supposed to have such contact." The older monk replied with a smile, "I put her down long ago. Why are you still carrying her?" This parable reminds us that the true weight lies not in the experience itself, but in the way we hold on to it. The past exists only as a memory, yet we often drag it along like a heavy burden. Imagine a bird that perches on a branch momentarily before taking flight when the wind calls. It doesn't cling to the branch or fear what comes next. It trusts the open sky. In the same way, learn to trust that releasing pain doesn't leave you empty. Instead, it frees you. A man once asked the Buddha the secret to happiness, and the wise sage simply replied, "Do not attach." The man didn't understand at first, but soon realized that to care doesn't mean to cling. A flower blooms for you to enjoy, but if you try to hold it too tightly, it withers. Love, joy, and even pain, allow them to arise and pass without attempting to own them permanently. So ask yourself, why do you hold on to pain? Does it give you strength or justify your feelings? Or is it just a pattern you're familiar with? Often we cling to our suffering simply because it's all we've known. But suffering isn't where you belong. Non-attachment isn't a lack of caring. It's about caring without being controlled by external events. When someone hurts you, don't let their actions weigh you down. You cannot dictate how others behave, but you can control how you respond and whether you choose to bear their burden. Embrace the idea that you have the power to release what doesn't serve you. Choose to be like the sky, unmoved by temporary storms, and let those passing clouds drift away. Imagine that by releasing your pain, you don't surrender to it. Instead, you triumph. When you let go of your suffering, you reclaim your peace, your freedom, and your ability to progress without the burden of the past. Consider the ocean. When a stone is cast into it, the water absorbs the disturbance and then returns to its calm state. Be like the ocean. Allow what comes to arrive, and let go of what leaves. Embrace your inner stillness. Right now, you face a choice. You can continue to bear this pain, letting it shape and define you. Or you can set it down, just as the monk gently let go of the woman. The bird gracefully left its branch, and the river flowed past the rocks without clinging. Take a deep breath and sense the weight of your sorrow. In your mind, release it. if only for a moment. Notice the empty space it leaves behind. That space is peace. That space is freedom. You're not compelled to hold on to every hurt, nor must you continue suffering. The instant you stop clinging is the moment you begin to truly live. In the next part, we'll explore how to transform pain into wisdom and convert what once hurt you into newfound strength. For now, simply breathe and be. Remember, letting go doesn't mean loss, it's choosing yourself. Now let's consider transforming your pain through mindfulness. Sit quietly for a moment, breathe deeply, and listen. Not to the clamor surrounding you, but to your inner voice. What do you hear? The echoes of past wounds, the reverberations of harsh words, the burden of memories you wish to erase. Pain doesn't remain solely in the body. It lingers in the mind, replaying over and over, because we fuel it with our thoughts and emotions. Yet like a fire that dies when its fuel is removed, pain loses its power when you stop feeding it with attention and attachment. Mindfulness is the key to this transformation. It's not about forgetting what happened, but about seeing it clearly, accepting it, and then choosing your response. Visualize yourself standing in the midst of a storm and recognizing that you aren't the storm. You're merely observing it. Just as a river pushes against you when you stand in it, making movement difficult, so too does clinging to pain make progress hard. Step back, observe without judgment, and allow the intensity of your suffering to diminish. The Buddha once taught that while pain is inevitable, suffering is a matter of choice. An insult causes pain, but if you replay that insult in your mind 100 times, letting it poison your inner peace, then suffering takes hold, and suffering is your decision. So how do you end this cycle? By being present. Pain anchors itself in the past, and fear dwells in the future, but peace exists only in the present moment. When you refocus your mind on the now, the weight of your pain begins to lighten. When thoughts arise, don't battle them or attempt to shove them away. Watch them pass by, like clouds drifting across a clear sky. When you cease clinging, they gradually fade away. Consider how a wound on your body eventually heals on its own, because it is allowed to rest, while the mind's tendency to pick at the wound only delays healing. Mindfulness teaches you to let the healing occur naturally, without interference. Some believe that holding on to pain bestows strength, yet true strength lies in rising above it, not in memorizing every insult or betrayal. Clinging to hurt is akin to carrying a heavy stone. It doesn't empower you. It only makes your journey more arduous. Let me recount a familiar story. 2 monks were walking along a muddy path when they encountered a woman struggling to cross a river. The older monk compassionately picked her up, carried her across, and set her down, while the younger monk, troubled by their contact, later questioned, "Why did you carry her? We're not supposed to touch women." The older monk replied with a serene smile, "I set her down hours ago." Why are you still carrying her? This story illustrates how we often continue to bear the burden long after the event has passed. The past is just a memory, and by clinging to it, we trap ourselves in suffering. Now reflect on the image of a bird on a branch, resting briefly, then taking flight when beckoned by the wind. It doesn't cling to the branch with fear of what might come. It trusts in the open sky and the promise of freedom. So it is with you. Trust that letting go won't leave you empty. Instead, it will unburden you and fill you with freedom. Remember, when someone hurts you, you have the power to decide how to handle that hurt. You cannot control their actions, but you can control your response. Choosing to release your pain and not letting it define you is an act of strength, a declaration that you are not willing to let pain dictate your life. The moment you shift your perspective from holding on to suffering, you begin to live. By asking yourself what lessons you can learn from your pain, you transform each wound into a wellspring of wisdom, just as a lotus flower rises from murky waters to bloom brilliantly. You too can rise above your hardships. Embrace this truth. Letting go is not losing, it is choosing you. Transform your pain into wisdom through mindful awareness and allow it to guide you toward a stronger, more peaceful existence. Yet it never lets the mud define it. It rises above, pure, untouched, and radiant. This is what we must strive to do. We must not allow our pain to shape our identity. The next time you are hurt, pause before reacting. Breathe, observe your thoughts, and refuse to let them overpower you. Witness the pain without clinging to it, and ask yourself, does holding on to this hurt bring me peace, or does it only take it away? If it strips away your peace, why keep holding on? Pain is a teacher, not a prison. Let it nurture your growth, help you understand yourself, and fortify your mind. Do not allow it to shackle you. Transform your pain, and in doing so, transform yourself. Remember, the clouds eventually pass, as do storms. Pain, too, will fade. Nothing lasts forever, including suffering. The more you let go, the lighter your spirit becomes, and the freer you will feel. Now take a deep breath. Release one small piece of your pain today. Then tomorrow, do it once more. Soon you'll realize that the burden you've been carrying was never meant for you to shoulder. Practice compassion without succumbing to victimhood. Yes, the pain is real, and the wounds are deep. They echo in the quiet of your mind and heart long after you've tried to forget them. They resurface when you attempt to move forward, clinging stubbornly to you. Often we're told to be compassionate and to forgive, but how can you show kindness to someone who has inflicted such pain? True compassion is not about letting others walk over you, pretending the hurt never occurred, or ignoring the pain. Instead, genuine compassion is built on strength, wisdom, and understanding, without permitting further harm. Imagine standing in the midst of a raging storm. You cannot control the wind or the rain, but you can find shelter to keep yourself safe. Compassion acts as that shelter. It protects your heart without exposing it to further danger. There is a common misconception that compassion means tolerating mistreatment, but Buddhism teaches otherwise. The Buddha never said to allow others to hurt you. He advised that you understand their suffering while safeguarding your inner peace. Consider this. If someone is drowning, would you jump in without knowing how to swim? No. You would extend a rope or offer a helping hand while remaining on solid ground. That is compassion tempered by wisdom. You help without sacrificing yourself. Some individuals hurt others because they remain entangled in their own unresolved pain. This, however, does not mean you must absorb their harm. When anger is directed at you, you do not need to catch it. When someone tries to drag you down, you need not fall. Compassion is the ability to witness another's suffering without letting it overshadow your own light. It means acknowledging their darkness while protecting your brightness. As the story goes of the Buddha facing a man loaded with anger, when the man hurled insults and provoked him, the Buddha simply smiled and responded, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" In that moment, the Buddha demonstrated that you do not have to accept someone else's anger. Sometimes, the most compassionate action is to walk away, not out of hatred or anger, but from a place of peace. Leaving does not indicate you care any less. It means you care enough about yourself to refuse to stay in a space where you are disrespected and hurt. Setting boundaries is an essential aspect of compassion. You can love and forgive someone while still choosing to keep a healthy distance. Forgiveness is not a call to reopen past wounds. Rather, it is a way to free yourself from them. Just as you would not expect a snake to bite you again after it has harmed you, you learn, heal, and move on with newfound wisdom. Some argue that clinging to pain makes them stronger, that remembering every slight and betrayal fortifies them. Yet true strength is found in rising above that pain, not in harboring it. Holding on to hurt is like carrying a heavy stone. It does not build strength. It merely makes your journey more arduous. Let me remind you of a familiar parable. Two monks walked along a muddy path and encountered a woman struggling to cross a river. The older monk picked her up, helped her across, then set her down, continuing their journey without hesitation. Hours later, the younger monk, still upset, asked, "Why did you carry her?" "We are not supposed to touch women," the older monk replied with a gentle smile. "I set her down long ago." "Why are you still carrying her?" This story illustrates our tendency to cling to past hurts long after the event is over. Envision a fragile flame. If you try to shield it too tightly, you extinguish its life, yet if you nurture it wisely, it grows. That is the essence of compassion. It is protecting your light without smothering it. In essence, when someone hurts you, do not allow their actions to imprison you. Stand back, assess the situation, and choose the path of understanding rather than resentment. Let your pain be a guide for growth, not a chain that holds you captive. Every moment you release a bit of this pain, you reclaim your power and move closer to a life defined by peace. Take another deep breath. Feel the space where your pain once weighed you down. That space is for peace. It is for freedom. With each act of release, you become lighter, freer, and more in tune with your inner light. Embrace this journey of compassionate strength and self-respect. It radiates warmth and light, yet if you allow a careless wind to sweep over it, the flame will be snuffed out. Your inner peace is much like that flame. It must be carefully nurtured, not left vulnerable to the tempests of others. Some people have only learned to take, only to hurt. You cannot change them, but you can decide your own response. You can choose to rise above. True compassion doesn't require you to lose yourself for someone else's sake. It means balancing kindness with wisdom, empathy, with the need to protect your own heart. It means offering help without sacrificing your well-being. If someone wounds you, you don't need to retaliate, nor are you obligated to remain in that burden. Their pain is theirs, not yours. You are free to choose how you respond. As someone wisely put it, never let another's behavior shatter your inner calm. Compassion, at its core, is a gift you bestow upon yourself. It grants you the freedom to select love over hate, peace over anger, and wisdom over suffering. You need not allow someone else's actions to define you or let their pain seep into your soul. You are neither a victim nor weak. You are strong, insightful, and free. Consider the transformative power of forgiveness, a precious gift for your own spirit. When another's words or deeds leave scars on your heart, the pain often lingers long after time has passed. You might convince yourself that you've moved on, yet a heavy residue of resentment may continue to haunt you, appearing uninvited like an unyielding shadow. Ask yourself, what do you gain from clinging to this hurt? Does it offer you peace? Does it mend your wounds? Or does it imprison you in a recurring cycle of suffering? Buddhist teachings remind us that forgiveness isn't for the benefit of the offender. It's for you. It's not about excusing the wrongdoing or pretending the hurt never occurred. It's about liberating yourself from the chains of resentment. Imagine a clenched fist, gripping anger so tightly that your heart becomes rigid and closed off to new experiences. Now, picture releasing that grip. As your hand opens, your heart softens, creating space for peace to flow in. Some mistakenly view forgiveness as weakness, as if by forgiving you, surrender power to the wrongdoer. In truth, forgiveness is about reclaiming your personal peace and refusing to let their actions continue to inflict pain upon you. Let me share a familiar story. A monk and his disciple were traveling through a village when they encountered a woman who needed help crossing a river. The compassionate monk carried her safely to the other side. Later, when the disciple scolded him for touching a woman, the monk gently replied, "I set her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" This parable illustrates how resentment works. The event has passed, yet we continue to bear its weight, poisoning our hearts. Reflect on the person who hurt you. Is their life shadowed by your anger, or are they oblivious to the inner storm you carry? Often you are the only one suffering from the weight of your own resentment. The Buddha taught, hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. By clinging to anger, we create suffering. By releasing it, we open up space for peace. Forgiveness may seem unattainable when your wounds run deep and every fiber of your being cries out for justice. Yet understand this: forgiving isn't forgetting or permitting further harm. It's about choosing serenity over the burden of past pain. Picture holding a burning coal in your hand. If you keep grasping it, it only scorches you more. You have a choice: continue clutching that burning ember of anger, or release it and allow healing to begin. The pain might not vanish immediately, but the act of letting go is the start of a long, transformative healing journey. As one wise master said, you cannot stop the waves, but you can learn to surf them. Pain, anger, and resentment will inevitably arise, but you hold the power to rise above them. Nature teaches us a beautiful lesson. A river doesn't cling to the leaves that drift into it. It carries them away effortlessly. The wind never holds on to dust. It moves forward with grace. Be like the river. Be like the wind. Let go of what no longer serves you and ask yourself, do you truly want to be right? Or do you want to be free? Do you wish to hold on to pain, or do you yearn for peace? Choose wisely. There is an old saying, resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. But you are not destined to suffer. You are here to heal, to grow, to embrace freedom. Take a deep breath, exhale, and release the burden you've been carrying. Step into the peace that has always awaited you. Letting go is the key to genuine emotional freedom. Imagine holding a rope that burns your hands. The tighter your grip, the more it sears. Yet despite the pain, you continue to hold on, hoping that if you persist just a little longer, the agony might subside. Instead, it only embeds itself more deeply. This is what happens when we cling to our emotional pain. By repeatedly revisiting our hurt, we deepen our suffering. Letting go is not about erasing the past. It's about liberating yourself from the crushing weight on your heart. It's the act of choosing peace over pain, freedom over the chains of resentment. So why is it so hard to release that grip? We hold on to our pain because we believe that doing so gives us a kind of power, a safeguard that will protect us from future hurt. We convince ourselves that by clinging to every painful memory, we somehow maintain control or exact a sense of justice. But ask yourself, has this ever really worked? Has anchoring yourself to pain ever made you feel truly strong? In reality, pain alone does not build strength. Healing does. Consider the story of a man who trudged through life carrying a heavy bag filled with stones. Each stone represented a memory of the people who had hurt him. When asked why he carried such a burden, he explained, "I keep these stones so I never forget." One day, an old monk encountered him, seeing how much the weight was taking its toll. The monk asked, "Does this bag make you happy?" When the man shook his head in negation, the monk inquired, "Then why do you continue to care for it?" The man could not answer. This simple exchange reflects the way many of us live. We lug around the weight of old wounds, past betrayals, and cutting words, clinging to them as though their permanence might somehow protect us. But what do we truly lose by letting them go? Only continued suffering and pain. Releasing our burdens doesn't mean denying what has happened or excusing harmful behavior. It means we choose not to let another's actions hijack our emotional state. Picture a clear lake. Toss a stone into it, and ripples spread across the surface, but soon enough the water calms down, returning to its inherent stillness. In the same manner, you too can return to a state of peace by choosing to stop feeding those painful memories. Understand this deeply. The past exists only as a memory in your mind. The insults, betrayals, and hurtful actions are not present in the here and now. They only hold power if you continue to nourish them with your thoughts. Imagine watching a fire. Every time you dwell on the pain, it's like adding another log to the flames, causing the fire to rage on. But if you stop feeding it, the fire will slowly die. You don't have to forget what happened. You just don't have to let it define your present. Think of the sky on a stormy day. Dark clouds can roll in, and fierce storms might rage, but regardless of the turbulence overhead, the sky remains fundamentally blue. Your true nature is much like that vast, serene sky, calm and infinite. The pain is merely like transient clouds passing by. As a wise master once said, "You are not the storm, you are the sky." Allow the clouds of pain to come and go without clinging to them. A common question arises: what if the person who hurt you never apologizes? How can you let go if they never acknowledge their wrongdoing? The answer is simple. Your inner peace isn't theirs to control. Waiting for an apology only hands over your power. When you decide to let go, you reclaim that power. Letting go is a gift you give yourself. Imagine walking through a garden with your hands full of stones. You yearn to pluck the beautiful flowers around you, but you can't because your hands are too occupied with the heavy remnants of the past. The only way to embrace something new is to first let go of what you're carrying. One day, you'll look back and see that the pain which once seemed so dominant has faded away, not because time healed it entirely, but because you chose to release it. Buddhist wisdom offers a pathway to emotional healing. Sit quietly, take a deep breath, and listen to yourself. For too long, you've allowed pain to dictate your thoughts and steal your peace. Have you ever seen a river hold on to a fallen leaf, or noticed how the sky never clings to lingering clouds? Yet so many of us persist in holding on to what has hurt us. Whether the wound is inflicted by someone close or by a stranger, the pain is real. But the journey to healing begins when you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and instead ask, "What can I learn from this?" Every painful experience has a lesson embedded within it, an opportunity to grow into a wiser, stronger, and kinder version of yourself. Imagine fire refining gold When gold is touched by fire, it isn't ruined, it is purified. Similarly, suffering has the potential either to harden you or to awaken you. The Buddha wisely taught that while pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Life brings its share of difficulties, disappointments, and heartbreaks. But the feeling of being trapped in pain is something within your control. You suffer when you continuously replay the hurt over and over. Think of a thorn pricking your foot. You wouldn't keep pressing on it, would you? You'd pull it out, clean the wound, and allow it to heal. But when it comes to emotional wounds, many of us keep revisiting them until they reopen time and again. The first step towards healing is realizing that you are not your pain. What happened to you in the past is just that. It happened, and it does not define you. Just as rain falls without becoming the sky, hurtful moments occur without you having to embody them. If someone insults or betrays you, remember, the insult or betrayal exists not solely in their words or actions, but in the way you choose to hold on to those memories. In effect, you hold the burning coal in your hands and wonder why it continues to scorch you. It's time to let it go. Yes, I understand. It isn't easy. If releasing pain were simple, everyone would be free from suffering. Healing demands awareness, effort, and patience. You cannot erase pain instantly, just as a seed won't sprout into a tree overnight. But if you begin now, right this moment, you're taking your first step toward true peace. How do you start? Begin by sitting with your pain without trying to escape it or force a resolution. Observe it as calmly as a mountain watches the clouds drift by. In that quiet observation, you'll recognize that the pain is merely a memory, a thought momentarily revived in your mind, not something actively present. You see it clearly, and in that clarity, you realize that while it once affected you, it doesn't own you. There once was a wise man who carried a rock everywhere he went. When people asked why he carried it, he would answer, "Because someone threw it at me once and I cannot forget it." Many laughed at his answer, but the irony was that the one who threw the rock had long since forgotten, while he was the only one who continued to suffer. Reflect on this. Who suffers more? The one who caused the hurt or the one who refuses to let it go? It's true that the wounds might run deep. You may believe that forgetting is impossible. However, healing isn't about erasing memories. It's about releasing the constant recollection that fuels your pain. Look around. The sun rises each day, no matter how long and dark the night. The tree continues to grow even if a branch breaks. Life moves forward, and so can you. Ultimately, every wound carries a lesson, and every pain holds the potential to transform you into someone more compassionate and resilient, if you're willing to see it that way. There's a story of a monk insulted by a man in a village. The man hurled names and provoked the monk, yet the monk remained calm and unmoved. When asked why he did not defend himself, the monk replied with quiet wisdom, illustrating that true strength lies not in lashing out, but in knowing when to walk away, when to maintain your peace, and when to let go. We cling to pain because we believe it protects us, but in truth it only deepens our suffering. Forgiveness, a gift you give yourself, enables you to unlock your inner freedom. When you choose to forgive, you are not excusing the harm done. You are liberating yourself from its relentless grip. Close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself holding a burning rope. The more you tighten your grasp, the more it burns. Despite the searing pain, you hesitate to let go, hoping perhaps that enduring it will eventually ease the hurt. But the longer you hold on, the deeper the burn becomes. This is the paradox of emotional pain. The more you remember, the more you suffer. So I ask you, why continue to hold on? Every day you release even a small piece of that pain. You make space for healing. Every day you decide not to feed the flames of anger with your thoughts. You help the fire die down. The path to healing is like nature. In its effortless way, a river doesn't clutch onto fallen leaves, and the wind moves on without lingering on stray specks of dust. Ultimately, ask yourself, what is it that you truly desire? Do you want to be right and locked in perpetual hurt? Or do you yearn for the freedom of peace? The choice is always yours. Remember the saying, resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. But you are not destined to suffer. You are here to heal, to grow, and to embrace the freedom that comes with letting go. Now take a deep breath, exhale slowly, and with that breath, release the weight that you've been carrying for far too long. Step forward into the peace that has always awaited you. Letting go isn't about losing something. It's about choosing yourself over pain, and in that choice, finding true emotional freedom. The monk smiled and said, "If someone offers you a gift and you choose not to accept it, to whom does that gift belong?" The man remained quiet. The monk continued, "In the same way, if someone directs anger, insults, or pain your way, and you refuse to internalize them, they remain theirs, not yours. This is the very essence of healing, releasing what does not serve you, letting go of what only brings suffering. If you don't take in the poison, it cannot harm you. Today, I ask you, what pain are you still holding on to? What wound are you denying yourself the chance to heal? Are you ready to let it go? Are you prepared to leave suffering behind and step toward peace? The Buddha never promised a life without pain. Rather, he revealed a path to move beyond it. That path now lies before you. Will you take that first step? In the next section, we will explore ways to build inner strength and transform pain into personal growth. Because true healing is not only about releasing what hurts us, it's also about rising higher than we were before. So sit down, take a deep breath, and listen closely. There's a story unfolding within you, a tale of pain interwoven with strength, of wounds that have given rise to wisdom. You may have been hurt by someone dear, or even by life itself. But now the question is, how will you use this pain? Will you allow it to weaken you, or will you channel it into strength? Every human being has experienced the sting of hurt, betrayal, disappointment, and rejection. These shadows follow us, yet the wise do not run away from them. They learn to coexist with these shadows until the light returns. Pain is like fire. If you fear it, it will consume you. But if you comprehend it, you can harness its power to forge something stronger. The most resilient swords are tempered in the hottest flames, and the deepest wisdom is born from the greatest struggles. Think of a tree that stands tall during a storm. The winds may shake it and the rain may pummel it, yet the tree does not break. Instead, its roots grow deeper, making it even stronger. You must become like that tree. Do not curse the storm. Let it shape you. Suffering exists not to destroy you, but to teach you. Pain is a mirror reflecting who you truly are. When someone betrays you, you discover who is worthy of your trust. When someone abandons you, you learn how to stand firmly on your own. When your heart is broken, you unearth the strength that lies within. Do not allow pain to embitter you. Let it refine you. The world is full of those who have been hurt and have closed their hearts in response. But the strongest among us are not those who have never experienced pain. They are the ones who have been wounded and yet continue to love. to trust, and to believe in the inherent goodness of life. Ask yourself, what has your pain taught you? Have you learned patience, resilience, and the ability to see truth in others? Every hurt carries its own lesson, if only you're willing to learn. There was once a man who lost everything, his family, his home, his wealth, all ripped away from him. He sat beneath a tree, feeling broken and lost. A wise master happened upon him and remarked with a gentle smile, "You are fortunate. You are free now, unburdened by anything that can hold you back from becoming who you were truly meant to be." The man was puzzled. "How can you say that?" he asked. The master replied, "Because you have been liberated, you no longer need to fear loss. In this emptiness you have found strength like never before. Pain is not your enemy. It is fear, fear of pain, of loss, of the unknown, that holds you back. Pain will come regardless of your fears, so why let fear control you? Real strength comes not from evading pain, but from confronting it head-on and moving through it. The Buddha taught that suffering is a part of life, yet it is our response that defines our experience. The wise do not shy away from suffering, they transform it. Do not wait for the world to treat you kindly before you choose kindness, or for life to be effortless before you embrace strength. True strength is forged in adversity, not comfort. You might feel exhausted, wanting to give up on being strong, but that is likely because you've been carrying your pain in the wrong way. Remember, strength isn't about holding on to pain forever. It is about learning from it, then setting it down. Consider a seed buried deep in the dark soil. It struggles, pushes, and fights to break through, but it never gives up until it reaches the sunlight. You are that seed. Your pain might be the darkness, but growth is inevitable, if you allow it. Do not resist your pain, transform it. If someone has hurt you, use that pain to become wiser. If life has been unkind, let your experience inspire you to help others. If you have been abandoned, let that solitude lead you to discover who you truly are. Every wound has the potential to be a source of strength, if you let it. Some people spend their lives blaming others for the pain they endure, thinking, if only they hadn't hurt me, I would be happy. But do you really want to give them that power? Do you truly wish to let them dictate your happiness, reclaim your power, and decide that their actions will not define your life? Strength does not mean shutting your heart off. Rather, it means keeping it open even after you've been hurt. It means choosing to rise again after you fall, standing tall even when the world attempts to break you. A wise man once observed that the bamboo that bends is stronger than the oak that resists. Flexibility is true strength. The ability to endure pain and yet forge ahead is strength indeed. Life without suffering is impossible, yet life without growth is equally unimaginable. They go hand in hand. The more you grow, the more challenges you will face, but do not fear them. Embrace them. They are what shape you into the person you are destined to become. Remember the monk's words, if someone offers you anger, insults, or pain, and you do not accept them, they remain theirs. This is the essence of healing, refusing to take in what only sows suffering. If you do not accept the poison, it cannot harm you. So I ask you one last time, what pain are you still holding on to? What wound have you yet to allow to heal? Are you ready to walk away from suffering and step toward peace? The Buddha did not promise a life devoid of pain, but he did offer a way to transcend it. The next part of our journey will delve into how to build inner strength and transform pain into personal growth. Remember, healing is not just about letting go, it's about rising higher than ever before. Now take a deep breath and listen. There is a story unfolding within you, a story of pain, but also of strength, a story of wounds, yet of profound wisdom. Each shadow of hurt, betrayal, and rejection can be transformed into the light of resilience and compassion. Embrace your journey. Use your pain as a stepping stone toward becoming stronger, kinder, and more compassionate. Let us walk this path together, building inner strength and turning pain into growth. Look back at your past and recognize how much you've endured, every heartbreak, every failure, every disappointment. The fact that you're still here is proof of your strength. If you've survived what you have, you can overcome anything. The strongest people are not those who have never been hurt, but those who have suffered deeply and yet continue to shine. They've been broken and still find the courage to love. They've been wounded and yet choose kindness. One day, you will look back at this pain and see it for what it truly is, a lesson, a teacher, a guide. It wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to build you. There's no simple shortcut to strength or an effortless path to wisdom. Every struggle, every challenge leads to something greater, to the realization of who you were always meant to become. So do not fear the fire. Let it forge you. Do not dread the storm. Let it shape you. And do not fear the darkness, because it exists only to help you discover your own light. You are not weak, and you are not broken. You are in the process of becoming. One day, after you've journeyed through this pain, you will realize that you were strong all along. Now let's talk about cultivating loving kindness as a way to overcome hurt. Sit down for a moment, take a deep breath, and feel the air as it fills your lungs and gently leaves your body. In that moment, let everything else fade away and just listen. When someone hurts you, your initial reaction might be anger or deep pain, a desire to make them understand how much they've wounded you. Perhaps you replay the incident repeatedly, thinking of what you should have said or done differently. Maybe you feel helpless, questioning why people can be so cruel. That hurt leaves a mark on both the heart and the mind, growing heavier over time. But imagine if you could set that burden down, a way to relieve this weight without letting anyone take advantage of you. That way is loving kindness. Loving kindness does not mean accepting mistreatment or excusing bad behavior. It means liberating yourself from the poison of resentment and choosing peace over pain. Picture yourself in a beautiful garden where the sun warms the air and calmness prevails. Suddenly, someone hurls a handful of mud at you. It lands on your clothes, your hands, maybe even your face. What do? Do you rush after them, seeking revenge? Or do you stand there in despair? Or do you simply walk over to a nearby stream, wash yourself clean, and continue your stroll? Loving kindness is like that stream. It cleanses you from the mud instead of weighing you down. It's not easy. When someone wounds us, the pain feels intensely personal, and our minds might yell that they don't deserve our kindness or peace. But ask yourself, do you deserve to be trapped in suffering? If the answer is no, then loving kindness is the way forward. Begin with small steps. Find a quiet place, close your eyes, and think of someone you truly love, a friend, a sibling, a mentor. Let the warmth in your heart grow as you silently wish them happiness, freedom from suffering, and peace. Hold on to that feeling. Next, think of a person you feel neutral toward, a stranger on the street, and send them the same heartfelt wishes. Finally, summon the courage to consider the person who hurt you, the one whose actions still linger in your mind. Even if it feels unnatural, silently wish for that person to find peace and be free from suffering. This isn't about excusing what they did or inviting them back into your life. It's about releasing the hold their actions have over you. Remember, people hurt others because they are often hurting themselves. You do not have to let someone who hurt you re-enter your life. Boundaries are necessary, and true wisdom lies in forgiving while still choosing to walk away from toxicity. Picture a strong old tree standing tall in the forest. Birds might land on its branches. Some sing sweetly, others peck at its bark. Animals find shelter in its shade, and even if some scratch its trunk, the tree remains unchanged. It stands rooted firmly, providing shade and beauty, not because of what others do, but simply because that is its nature. You too can be like that tree. Loving kindness does not make you weak or foolish. It liberates you from the burden of anger, enabling you to focus on your own growth rather than on the actions of those who have tried to harm you. If anger or resentment should resurface, don't resist them with more negativity. Instead, acknowledge their presence, observe them, and then gently return to the path of kindness. A wise master once said that holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent to throw it at someone else. Ultimately, you're the one who gets burned, so let go of that burning coal, wash the mud off, and stand tall like the tree. Your inner peace is far too important to be sacrificed on the altar of pain. In our next segment, we will delve into how meditation and reflection can deepen this practice of letting go and further strengthen your inner peace. Your freedom is nearer than you think. Now take another deep breath. Close your eyes for a moment and let your breath slow down your thoughts. In this stillness, let all the noise of the world fade away. Notice the presence of your body, the rhythm of your breathing, and the quiet space within you. Just like a river that becomes clear after the storm has passed, your mind can find clarity when you slow down. You were meant to be, so look back at your past and see just how much you have survived. Every challenge, every heartbreak, and every setback has forged your strength. If you have endured your past, you have proven that you can survive anything. Use each painful memory as a stepping stone toward the person you are destined to become. Embrace the lessons it offers, and let those experiences refine you rather than define you. Remember, pain is not the enemy. It is a teacher that, when welcomed with loving kindness and a resilient spirit, shapes you into a stronger, wiser, and kinder person. Trust in your ability to rise above the hardships, and know that as you release your anger and nurture compassion, you are taking the vital steps toward building inner strength and personal growth. Reflect on your journey and see the strength in your survival. Every heartbreak, every failure, every disappointment that you've endured is evidence of your resilience. You've weathered the storms of your past, and if you have the power to overcome anything that comes your way. The truly strong are not those who never experience suffering. They are the ones who, despite deep wounds, continue to shine. They have been broken, yet still offer love. They have been hurt, yet choose kindness over bitterness. One day, you will look back on this pain and recognize it for what it truly was. A teacher guiding you toward becoming who you are meant to be. There's no shortcut to developing strength or attaining wisdom. Each struggle and every challenge you face contributes to your growth. Rather than fearing the fire, let it temper and shape you. Instead of dreading the storm, allow it to mold you. Even in the darkness, trust that you will discover your inner light. You are not weak or broken, you are evolving. And when you eventually emerge from these trials, You will realize that you were strong all along. Cultivating loving kindness now. Take a moment to sit down, breathe deeply, and focus on the sensation of life flowing through you. When someone hurts you, it's natural for your first response to be anger or pain, a desire to make them understand the depth of your wound, to replay the moment over and over in your mind, or to regret what you might have done differently. This lingering hurt, however, can become a heavy burden that grows with time. Imagine yourself in a serene garden where everything is calm and the sun gently warms your skin. Suddenly someone splashes mud on you. What are you to do? You have a choice. You might try to retaliate, or you might simply walk to a nearby stream, wash off the mud, and continue on your way. This act of cleansing mirrors loving kindness. It's about washing away the negativity and not letting resentment take root. True loving kindness does not mean accepting mistreatment or excusing harmful behavior. It means liberating yourself from resentment and choosing to nurture your own peace. Begin small. Find a quiet space. Close your eyes and think of someone who fills your heart with love. A dear friend, a cherished family member, or a mentor who has always shown you kindness. Hold that warm feeling and silently wish them happiness, freedom, and peace. Then extend that loving kindness to a neutral acquaintance, a stranger you pass on the street. Eventually, challenge yourself by considering the person who has hurt you, and even if it feels uncomfortable, silently wish them peace. This practice isn't about condoning their actions or inviting them back into your life. It's about liberating yourself from the grip of their actions and reclaiming your power. The practice of presence. Meditation is a simple yet profound tool that teaches us to be present, to allow clarity and stillness to return. It isn't an escape from life, nor a method to force thoughts away. Rather, it's a practice of observing them without letting them control you.